I love you. The best thing about Tim Barnett is he's from Canada and he says a boat. A boat. That and he's bald, which is also pretty awesome. All right. It is good to see you, most of you anyway. I was out last week. I got to take my family to Yellowstone and enjoy 10 days on the road. So it's good to be back. I missed you. I got to hang out with the small group leaders before service and just enjoy some time. So I'm hoping to continue that now. If you're new to PYA, I am Tosh. That is not short for anything. That's my whole name. Around here, some people call me Mr. Tammy, which is my wife. She's the lady in charge here. So we're going to continue our series this week. Week 3, the first week, Pastor Jimmy brought the word, and it was incredible. And we learned that our job in fellowship is to get in other people's mess and let them into our mess, right? Because of Jesus, we are family. And part of that means we're supposed to be in fellowship, koinonia. We're supposed to be in fellowship, right? And that means we got to get messy with each other. And then last week, Pastor Mark, who in the only way Mark can, he makes Scripture so easy to understand. He really does. He broke it down, and he taught me things about the temple last week that I never knew. Basically, the long and short of it is we're, as the family of Jesus, supposed to break down walls, right? We're supposed to break down walls, and that's what the gospel does, is break down walls. And you might ask, well, how did you know what Mark spoke on? Because we have our own PYA YouTube channel. And I could literally watch it on the road while I'm driving. No, I didn't do it while I was driving. Although I did listen to it while I was driving and then watched it later. So this week we want to continue that discussion. Welcome home. Because of Jesus, we are family. And how apropos is it that I just spent 10 days on the road traveling 3,400 miles, never going faster than 68 miles an hour, because I was in an RV, which was awesome. And we traveled I got to travel with friends. So my wife and my 2 kids and I were in a small RV, and our friends with their 6 kids were in their RV, right? So there's 12 of us, 4 adults or 3 adults and me, and then 12 children. The oldest being 12, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and 4 4-year-olds. Triplet boys, and then my son, we call them the quads because they're only 6 weeks apart. Now, I know to some of you that sounds like torture, but to someone who enjoys spending time with children, that is paradise, right? So we left Beaumont, we traveled all the way to West Texas to Palo Duro Canyon, and it was amazing. And then we left there and went to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Where we got to feed buffalo. A buffalo actually licked my daughter's face, which was absolutely hysterical. It burped in one of the other girls' faces, which was the 12-year-old. And if you know any 12-year-olds, that's mortifying, right? For a buffalo to burp in your face. And for your mom to get it on video and put it on Facebook. And then we left there and traveled across Wyoming, through Jackson Hole, through the Grand Tetons, and went through Idaho, through the farmlands, and ended up in West Yellowstone. And why do I say all this? Because I need to paint a picture for you to get the point across today. So over 10 days, 4 adults, 8 kids, 2 RVs, Palo Duro Canyon, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the Grand Tetons, Yellowstone. 3,400 miles, right? And I learned a few things over 3,400 miles that I want to share with you. First is this. We stayed at RV parks. We met a lot of strangers. And I will tell you this. The first thing, strangers, people you don't know, you'll be nicer to strangers than you will your own family. 10 days in an RV, 12 people, 8 screaming children. You can imagine the tension, right? But that's being family, is it not? Spending time together in one each other's armpits. I mean, you're just all up on each other. 10 days. And we'd meet strangers and it'd literally go like this. What are you doing? Get out of there. Leave him alone. Get your, hey, how you doing? Where are you from? Oh, that's nice. New York. Oh, how you doing? It's good to see you. No, that wasn't good. Sorry. Literally, that's how it went, right? You need some help hooking up your poop tank. Let me help you. I don't have gloves. That's okay. Literally, that's what we would do. And then we'd scream at each other for 10 days, right? Second thing is children always speak the truth about your appearance and your smell because they haven't learned to hide the truth yet when it doesn't get them in trouble. They will never tell the truth if it's going to get them in trouble. Third, and this is where it really launches, God is bigger than I ever thought possible. Now, I was born and raised in the Rocky Mountains. Glenwood Springs, Colorado. The Colorado River ran right at the bottom of yes, I lived on a mountain. Everyone in Glenwood Springs lives on a mountain, okay? So I thought I knew mountains. I thought I knew beauty. Let me just show you the first picture. Ethan, put that first picture up. So we're coming down a half-mile hike up to 9,800-foot elevation, and I'm crossing this bridge, and there's a bull buffalo crossing the road in front of me. That's not a painting. I took that picture on my iPhone, okay? That's where I was for days, right? God is bigger than you could possibly imagine. Put up the next picture, Ethan. Right? This was my view for days and days and days. Now, I want to paint this picture. Every morning I got up, it was about 32 degrees. Every day during the heat of the day, max 72 degrees. I drove home to 96 degrees at midnight. I'm like, what the hell? I have entered hell. Right? Next picture, please, Ethan. Go back one. You can go back one, it's fine. That is the Grand Tetons. Okay? That is the east side of the Grand Tetons. Next picture. So we're walking along, and we just, boom, there's a waterfall. Keep going. Is that the last one? If that's the last, okay. This is called the Grand Prismatic. That's a hot springs. Okay? I'm standing about 200 feet above it on a mountain and took that picture. And I'm not a photographer. Now, what I can tell you is these pictures don't do it justice. They don't do any of these landscapes justice. Okay? That is literally bubbling out of the earth. That water in the center is about 200 degrees. Okay? Now, Ethan, if you would go back to the Grand Tetons, the big mountain, and just leave it there for a minute. Okay? Now, so a couple other things we learned. One, God is bigger than you ever thought imaginable. Number 4, He thinks more of you than you do. So I'm hiking along these mountains for days with my kids, trying to keep them from falling into hot springs and sulfur pools and getting run over by buffalo. And I'm sitting there thinking, God, you created all of this. You're crazy generous, right? And you put all this here, and what does God tell us? What does God tell Adam? He said, all this is yours. All of it, right? It's all yours. God thinks more of you than you do. And lastly, I went expecting God to move. Every day we wake up, at least I do, expecting God to move in my life. And while I was sitting at the base of the mountain, looking up at about 6,800 feet and needed to get at 9,800 feet, guess what? God didn't move to me. I had to move to God. So often in life, We expect God to move, and so often He's already moved. He's just waiting on us. Right? So, we're in Yellowstone. Everybody told us, hey, you know, it's the warm season. It's August. Don't expect to see anything, any animals. First day, we're a quarter mile into the park. We see a mama elk and 2 calves. Over the next 3 days, we saw a gray wolf, grizzly bears, black bears, geese. I wrote them all down. Hundreds of deer, a bull moose, 3 white wolves, hundreds of bison, ducks, bald eagles, golden eagles, 8 waterfalls, and countless rivers. So the last day we're there, we go whitewater rafting, okay? I know it sounds crazy to take a bunch of kids whitewater rafting. Don't worry, it was only a Class 3 river. That Class 5 is the highest, and they had life jackets on, they're fine. So we're going, and it's an amazing day, and you're going down the Yellowstone River. There's mountains all around you, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And we finish, and everybody's just had a great time. And I'm sitting in this cafe looking at the picture of the Teton, looking at the mountains, right? I just came out of this river. There's a little meadow, a lake, and then the mountains. And I'm sitting there just in awe of those mountains that were on the screen. And literally all I could say for a guy who was born in the mountains was amazing. That's all I could get out. I was just overwhelmed with how awesome God is. And my kids are there, my friends are there, we're doing life together, and all I could say was amazing. And about that time, the guy waiting our table sets my food down, and he heard me say it, and he goes, "You get used to it." And he walked off. That's what he said. You get used to it. And I'm going, you get used to it? What are you talking about? And that bothered me. We had a 2-hour ride home, back through the mountains, put the kids to bed. I didn't sleep much that night. Something about this was really bothering me, and I didn't know it. And I did not sleep well all night. And the next morning it hit me. And what hit me was, and I literally said this little prayer. I said, God, what have I become so used to at home, taken so for granted at home, that I don't see you anymore? And this bothered me all day. Now, we still had another day in the park, and we took the kids to this adventure center where they got to literally feed grizzly bears and wolves. And it was fun watching it, but this thing was nagging at me. So much so that I talked to Tammy about it, talked to Brian about it, or our friends, and they're like, dude, you're on vacation, chill out, right? Don't be super Jesus, right? I'm like, no, it's bothering me. What if that guy can be take that so for granted? What am I taking for granted in Beaumont? Beautiful mountain. What am I taking for granted? And then it hit me. That night it hit me. And this is literally what it was. You. Now some of you are looking, you don't even know me. You don't know me. I know. But that's what it hit me. You. Because of Jesus, we are a family. How often do you take your family for granted? All the time. How often do you take for granted your friends? All the time. How often do you take for granted that you're nicer to strangers than you are your own family? And let me show you what I mean. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. This all hit me on the last day we were there, okay? So, and I mean beginning. Genesis 1:1. Are you ready? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was day. Did I just skip a bunch? Let's go back. Let there be light, he called night, and there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And he said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters they were gathered he called the seas. And God saw that it was good. Pause right there. So we're going to review. Day 1, he created light, right? Day 2, he created the sky. Day 3, he created land and vegetation. All of those were present in the picture I showed you. Mountains, water, land, sky. 3 days, 3 things. And he said they were good. They're good. They're nice. Good. They're excellent. Genesis 1:14 through 25. And God said, let there be lights in the expanses of the heaven to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the 4th day. And God said, let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. So God created the great sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with the waters swarm according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning the 5th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So day 4, God created the sun, moon, and stars. Day 5, he created fish and birds. Day 6, he created land creatures. So let's review. Day 1, he created light. We saw that. Day 2, he created sky. Day 3, he created land and vegetation. Day 4, he created the sun, moon, and stars. Now that's not a mistake. He created light first. On day 4, he created the sun. You may ask, how did he create light on day 1 and the sun on day 4? You have to read John 1:1 to figure that out. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. Jesus was the light of the world. Jesus illuminated everything first. He created vegetation on day 3. That means that Jesus, the Son of God, was the life-giving source of vegetation before the sun was created. This is important. We're getting there. Hang with me. Genesis 1:26 through 31. Then God said, let us, plural, make man in our image, plural, after our likeness. If you look up the Hebrew word for likeness, it means nature, in our nature, okay? And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, over every living thing that moves on earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning on the 6th day. So God created the animals on the 6th day. And he said it was good. Day 1, he said it's good. Day 2, he said it's good. Day 3, he said it's good. Day 4, he said it's good. Day 5, it was good. Day 6, it was good with the animals. But at the end of day 6, what caused God to rest and utter the words, "It is very good. It is complete. It is perfect. It is without fault. It is my perfection." When he created you, when he created Adam and Eve, he stopped. And he said, all this, the land, the birds, the sea, the waters, the creatures, everything is yours. But I didn't stop until I made you. See, there's something interesting when he makes everything else. What does God do? He speaks it into existence, right? When God speaks, things form. He says, boat, boom, there's a boat. When God says, you're healed, you're healed. It just, okay? But I want you to notice a difference. Adam and Eve, how did God make Adam? It says he formed him with his own hands out of the dust. God spoke the world into existence. He made you with his own hands. God spoke Adam and Eve, spoke the world into existence, but how did he bring Adam to life? He breathed in his nostrils. The Old Testament literally says, and God blew in his nostrils. The essence of God entered Adam. God cared about us so much more than the world, that he made us different. He made us with his hands, and he gave us his own breath. Same thing with Eve, okay? Now, why do I harp on this? It was very good. It was good, 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 it's very good. Because we have a tendency to look at nature, to look at the river, to look at the world and go, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's amazing. But when's the last time, and I'm not trying to be mean here, I want you to get this. When's the last time that your friend was talking to you and you put down your phone, got off Facebook, quit Instagramming, tweeting, whatever, and looked them in the eye and listened to what they had to say? It's funny walking around Yellowstone. Everybody, except me, had their phone out everywhere they're going. Most of the pictures I have on my phone, Tammy had to send me. A, because I don't know how to work my phone. But the point is, God cared so much about you that he made you more important than the first 5 days of all creation. The first 5 days of all creation, he just said, it's good. He made the animals that we stood in awe and wonder, that I traveled 3,400 miles to see. And he went, they're good. And he got to you and he said, it's very good. I can be done now. And somewhere along the line, Adam and Eve screwed it up for us. But it brings us back to our point. When Jesus died on the cross and tore down those walls, what happened is he restored us to the creative purpose, to relationship with Jesus without an intermediary. Before the fall, Adam and Eve were perfect, and they walked without sin with God in the cool of the day in the Garden of Eden. When Jesus died on the cross, he saw you as he sees Jesus. So we get to walk together with Jesus. So because of Jesus, we are family. Because of Jesus, we can walk together arm in arm, side by side, with Jesus without fault. But there's a caveat. Adam didn't walk alone. Eve didn't walk alone. They never spent time apart. Just like 12 people on an RV. You know the fascinating thing about our trip? 2 different families became one family. In that great landscape, under the God of heaven, rejoicing in His creation, there's something about it that the closeness, unplugging from everything that distracts us, made 12 people a family. When we left, our friends stayed to see the eclipse. We had to get back. My kids wept for their friends. My wife wept because we were leaving family behind. So wake up every day expecting God to move, and then go where He is, arm in arm with the people in your life. Put down the distractions and start paying attention. And what you'll find is there's people sitting right next to you who care more about you than you ever thought possible. So, Daddy God, we thank You for this day. We thank You for what You've done. We thank You for Your creation. And we just ask that You help us to move, to find where You are, and that You bless us in our coming and our going. We love You so much. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.